Pastor Greg Boyd from Calvary Chapel at Merced. How are you, bro?
I'm doing well.
So you're here at the conference. You probably come here every year, right?
Every time I can, yes.
Every time you can.
Yeah.
And let's start off with the church. You know, you're pastoring a church.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been pastoring Merced?
In Merced, I've been there going on 7 years. In the fall, it'll be 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been the senior pastor since then, right? Obviously.
Yes. Yeah, I came out of Calvary Chapel in Antioch. I'd been the assistant there for many years.
Oh, wow.
And they needed someone in Merced, and I was available, so...
Now you're here with your wife?
Yes.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. Now, as far as the ministry, what's going on there at Calvary Chapel in Merced?
Well, this past year has been really interesting for us. We were renting from another church, a church that was aging, and we were winding up doing more of their maintenance. They asked us if we'd be willing to purchase the property.
Oh, wow.
So it took us 2.5 years to work through all the details, but we managed to do that this last year, and it's been really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
How nice to have your own place, right?
Yes, very much so. Very much
Now,
so.
as far as the ministry, you also have a radio ministry going on. Tell us
That's
a
right.
little bit about that.
Well, the radio station was there when I got there. We've been on the radio for about 10 years. And so we're small, LPFM. Merced has about 80,000 residents. We pretty much blanket the town and go a little bit beyond, which is good. And one of the things about Merced is we have a not new anymore, 10-year-old UC campus there, and the station reaches the UC, and we've actually had people visit because they heard the station at the UC.
Wow.
So that's been very encouraging to us.
Wow. What's the format? Is it talk, music?
It's worship and teaching.
It is.
So, we're automated almost entirely. No paid staff for our radio station, so it's all volunteers. We have a team that different people do different things, and so we just focus on the worship and the teaching, and that seems to fit a real need in our area, so we're real happy with that.
And how long has the station been on the air?
It's been about 10 years now. I'd be hard-pressed to give you the date since I wasn't there, but
right about a decade.
Right about 10 years, yeah.
Wow. And how's the community responding to the station? Do you get a lot of feedback?
We don't get a lot, but when we do get feedback, it's uniformly positive. The guy that did our home inspection when we moved to town, when he found out what church I was pastoring, he said, "Oh, I've got my car radio tuned to your station. I listen to it all the time." And
wonderful.
So those kinds of things are very encouraging to us.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So who do you have on in your lineup? Or what kind of teachers do you have, or who are they on?
We have quite a few teachers. Of course, we have Pastor Chuck, we have Brian, Damian Kyle, we have Raul Reese, Mike McIntosh, Pancho Juarez. We have about a dozen. Now, actually, I think we have more than that. So we have a pretty good mix. I think it's about a third teaching and about 2/3 worship music.
Do you have any live programming?
At this point, we don't. We had to move our station a few years ago. We lost our prior facility. We didn't lose it, but we sold our prior facility and moved out. And so at that point, we took down our satellite and we made a bunch of changes. And so we're not doing anything live. We have done a live call-in prayer show before where we just took a half hour in the mornings, the prior pastor and the assistant pastor, and just took live calls and prayed for people over the phone, and that was very well received. So at this point we're just kind of maintaining. We're looking forward to doing some upgrades on the equipment and the software and the programming, and at that point we'll reevaluate everything.
Do you guys take pastor's perspective?
We have until we moved, and we have not been able to put up a satellite dish yet, but we plan to. We definitely, and that was one of the shows that actually got the most feedback. People really like hearing the call-in and the answers there.
So what is Merced like? What is that area like? I mean, it's up in Northern California, correct?
It's actually, Merced is very close to the geographical center of California.
Oh, wow.
So if we say Northern California, the people in Northern California don't like that. So, so we say Central California.
Central.
It's in the middle of the Central Valley. It's was a farming community. It's been around for a long time. A lot of the industry is related to the food industry, and then of course with the UC, that's kind of changing the dynamic some. But a very poor, depressed area. We were featured in the New York Times at the height of the mortgage crisis. So unemployment has been traditionally very high. Lots of needs. Lots of needs.
So your fellowship there is probably a huge need for the community in reaching out with the love of Christ, the gospel.
And that's one of the interesting things that happened for us this year was we were approached by the head of the Boys and Girls Club, who said, "We would like to have a lunchtime program for kids in your area of Merced. Would you be interested in hosting it?" And we said, well, let's look into it. We don't know what that would entail. We don't know if we have people who would be interested, but we had just finished remodeling our fellowship hall, which has a kitchen, so it was a perfect venue for them. And kids have been coming in, starting to feel a little more at home there, playing with the toys that we put out. And we're looking at that kind of as a first step towards reaching into the neighborhood more, because it's mostly neighborhood kids who are coming. So there's a lot of need, a lot of potential, and we're just kind of taking it one step at a time as God gives us that opportunity.
That's great. So if somebody's listening right now on our YouTube channel and maybe they are living in that area, where can they go to get more information about not only your church but also the radio station?
So both information for both the church and the radio station is on our website, calvarychapelmerced.org. And everything can be there, or you can call the church. Our number is 209-722-9948. And our Sunday morning service is at 10:15. A lot of people just come and pick up material and check it out, listen in. We'd love to have people visit. Our goal is for everyone to move forward towards that goal that God has for them, to be complete in Christ. Paul said, I want everyone to be complete in Christ. And like Richard Semino was saying this morning, the goal is for worship. The goal is to have everybody worshiping God. And so through the teaching and the worship, that's what we want to do. We want to move people a step closer to being all they can be in Jesus, and to be worshiping Him the way He deserves to be worshiped.
Amen.
So that's what we want our radio station to accomplish.
Well, great. Thanks, Greg, so much for being on here
Thanks
on
for having
K-Wave.
me.
And God bless you and your ministry in the radio.
Thank you. Appreciate all you guys do to support us.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. It's Calvary Chapel, Merced, and that is Pastor Greg Boyd. So thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your time here at the conference.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Stay tuned, guys, for more interviews as we continue to bring him on here live from the Calvary Chapel Pastors Conference here in Costa Mesa.